618 Athol Street is a very special house. Whitby has very few, if any, houses designed in the Tudor Revival style.
Doors Open Whitby connects people to places, stories, and is part of a provincial initiative. We've learned about the growth of our town, our urban and rural spaces, the remarkable individuals who have been part of that journey, and about the waves of immigration and innovation that have followed. Connecting our community to the places that we value has been harder in the COVID-19 world of 2020. Thankfully, like many other communities in Ontario, Doors Open Whitby is going digital, so that we'll still have the opportunity to learn and explore, to be inspired and challenged as we look to the future, to cherish what is right here in our own backyard, and to acknowledge how we got here, to rediscover Whitby. We begin this story by acknowledging that it takes place on the traditional treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island, First Nation of the Mississauga Nation. May we respectfully share in the responsibility of the stewardship and environmental protection of these ancestral lands. We recognise that we still have a lot to learn about the people who lived on this land for thousands of years before the first settlers arrived. The house at 618 Athol Street was home to several interesting residents throughout its 106-year history. This house is situated in a quiet neighbourhood east of Whitby's historic Werdens Conservation District. Its location would have been far enough from the hustle and bustle of Whitby's business district at the Four Corners, Brock Street and Dundas Street, and yet close enough to allow its residents to walk to shops and businesses.
The most obvious Tudor Revival feature in the home can be seen in the dormer windows. You'll notice the half-timbered detail that is characteristic of this style.
Inside, there is a large foyer with original woodwork solid oak beveled glass French doors leading to the dining and living rooms. The dining room boasts original leaded glass windows, which match the cabinet doors on the built-ins.
There are two original brick fireplaces, one in the living room on the first floor and one in the study on the second floor. What I really like about the fireplaces is that both of them have the original ash chute to the basement.
In keeping with a house of grand design such as this one, there is a secondary staircase leading from the kitchen to the second floor, likely used for the family's servant. The house was built as a wedding present for Graydon and Olive Goodfellow. The couple lived here for only 14 years before moving to a house on Dundas Street West that has since been demolished. The yellow house directly across the street at 221 Trent Street was owned by Graydon's parents, Charles and Mary Goodfellow. Graydon was born in Toronto on January 9, 1891. His family moved to Whitby in 1903, where his father started the Whitby Keystone newspaper. In 1906, his father purchased two newspapers, the Gazette and the Chronicle, and amalgamated them into one. After studying math and political economy at McMaster University, Graydon returned home to work with his father in printing and publishing. Together they published the Gazette and Chronicle from 1912 to 1941. Graydon maintained a printing company under various names throughout the 1940s and eventually became a director of the Oshawa Times Limited. For many current residents of Whitby, this house is known as the Hardy Boys House. Between 1936 and 1937, Leslie McFarlane, also known as Franklin W. Dixon, author of 20 Hardy Boys novels, lived in this house with his family. During this time, he wrote A Figure in Hiding, the 16th novel in the series. Shortly thereafter, his family moved to a house on King Street, but stayed in Whitby until the Second World War. He returned in 1961 and lived at 704 King Street. McFarlane was born at Carlton Place, Ontario, on October 25, 1902. He wrote for various newspapers and magazines before answering an ad for a novelist for State Mayor Syndicate. Using the pen name Roy Rockwood, he wrote 6 books for the Dave Fearless Underwater Adventure series. McFarlane was then asked to write for a new series called The Hardy Boys, based on the sons of a famous detective. He considered himself the ghost of the Hardy Boys, since he wrote the novels for a flat fee and under the publisher's pen name. He went on to become an award-winning playwright, director, producer, writer, and author. He loved Whitby dearly and served as chairman of the Whitby Board of Education and as a member of the Whitby Public Library Board. He died on September 6, 1977.
The current owners, Natalie and David, started a law practice in Whitby in 1987. In 1993, they purchased 618 Athol Street to use as their family home and as the office for their law practice. They ran their law practice out of the living room on the main floor and closed off the veranda for use as a waiting room and for David's office. David and Natalie operated their law practice from 1993 to 2017 while simultaneously raising their 3 children, all within 618 Athol Street.
Thousands of clients attended the Whitby office from January of 1994 until they retired in 2017. 618 Athol has since been reverted to the couple's family home.
I'd like to thank David and Natalie for letting us come into their home. It was really a treat to see all of the interesting features.
From historical sites to modern marvels of construction, Digital Doors Open features virtual tours and online activities so that you can take a journey across Whitby and the province to discover the buildings, natural spaces, infrastructure and cultural landscapes that shape and define our communities and tell our stories. To learn more about this project, visit whitby.ca/doorsopen. Visit doorsopenontario.on.ca, where you will find more to discover from Whitby and beyond.